So, like I surprised many of my subscribers last week when talking about Wistoria Episode 1, it comes to us from the author of Don Machi. But there actually is a lot of surprising elements about the anime side of this, and I knew about this walking in, but I completely forgot to mention it. So, it's probably very apparent. People might wanted to say, oh, it's Episode 1, look at that animation. But actually, if you break down the staff listing and look at the director of Wistoria, they are actually the action director of Chainsaw Man, and one of the people behind the Chainsaw Man anime. And when you really take a step back and look at the fights between the last couple of episodes, I mean, even outside of the fights, the headmistress of the school just be casually showing magic flair. Did she need to take that sword out of the sheath using magic? No, but did she? Absolutely. And they get to flex the animation, but when you look at that fight between this dude Edward, who's basically trying to fail our boy, and just everything that happened, it was stunning. It's just absolutely a consistent visual production, and I think it's going to be one of the best produced shows of the season, 100%. Now, of course, I have full live reactions over on Patreon. If you want to see my full and thoughts to any of these episodes, it's going to be over there exclusively. So, we actually get a very good second episode. It doesn't really waste time. It doesn't slow things down. It actually keeps the momentum going at a fast pace, while also showing us the softer and more vulnerable side to the cast. I mean, last week ends with us saving a bully who basically has made our life living hell, and to no real surprise. I mean, I'm not going to say the dude's not acting like a D-bag, he is, but it's a pretty normal response, especially because, one, this is a kid who basically, he's looked at as a failure, like he can't use magic, yet he can do things that clearly I can't even do with magic, so there's that frustration there. You have the idea of, like, is he hiding his true self? There's a lot of frustration. I assume at some point in the story's run, they're going to be at least frenemies, if not more, because there's some sort of chemistry that will blossom there. I'm not sure if it'll be a full-on friendship, because there probably is too much negative history, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'm sure they're going to fight together at some point, and I'm excited to see that. But the idea that when you look at two different teacher roles, one of which is like trying to support this kid into, being able to tackle a school that, why would you, I saw the criticism last week, why would you let someone who can't use magic into a school? That's so stupid. They answer that by episode 2, so that criticism completely goes out the window. It is true, and most of the teachers are probably going to look at our boy exactly like that. But the idea that on his, first day, when this headmistress, gives him a little dagger, and with a single dagger is able to stop all those spells, he's basically a boy trying to make a sword surpass a wand. And that is insanity to so many people, but when you look at it objectively from her point of view, there's actually career paths that someone like him could actually take if he wanted to do something like medicine or something like that. His academic skills in the magical field, studying here, could actually allow him to have a pretty normal, safe job that would actually work and benefit. But it's true, he's going after a title that, hell, you look at the man who was testing him, apparently even he didn't get the title, but he did reach the top of the tower. And who's better to test him to see if he's capable? Well, if you can land a strike on me, I'll allow it. Did he play dirty by not letting him have a sword? 100%, but as soon as he got that sword, boom, were the tables flipped in that moment. It's so interesting how this show has already covered its ass in so many ways that I feel like a lot of shows wouldn't do. Even though I assumed, just at face value, why someone like Will would probably be able to be accepted in a school like this, especially with someone like, this teacher backing him. At the same time, I don't think it's unreasonable for people to have pushback after last week thinking, why would a kid who clearly can't cast a single spell, it's a little different with Mash from Mashal because he lied his way into the school at first. But, a kid like him, very clearly is known that he can't use magic, so why would he be accepted? And within a couple seconds into a flashback, you get your answer. Those types of moments are really, really important, and it ties together because as much as I love looking at all this action and animation, you gotta actually care about the characters, you gotta care about the story, you gotta care about the plot progression, and you know what? I'm sure Edward has his thoughts about a kid doing all this for love, but the kid's honest at least, goddamn. Now, as for the fight, so good. It's just to watch him frantically run across and try his best to survive, because this man was out for blood, man. It was not looking good, and he refused to give up. And it's kind of funny, but I love it, because honestly, I think we need more of this in anime. When I was growing up, I used to see Ash Ketchum, and when he turned that baseball cap around, you knew shit was about to get serious. You knew he was putting his big boy pants on, and we were about to have the Pokemon battle of a lifetime. The goggles are that for him. When he puts his goggles on, that's how you know he's going Sonic the Hedgehog on your ass. Because yeah, I mean, obviously if he needs glasses to see, wearing glasses in fighting is not really going to work out well, but the goggles so they don't slip and fall, they're more durable, makes sense. But I love that little gimmick that, like, as he pulls his blade out and he puts his goggles on, that's how you know shit's about to mean business. And the idea of using that distraction, like firing off some rocks, you know, pushing him forward and then sneaking behind and getting that, just amazing. But the actual thing that caught me by surprise the most, I am so used to seeing these like, hey, if you hit me or you defeat me, you know, you pass or you win the battle. And usually it's like, okay, if the person's blade is right up against their neck and they stopped it, that means like, oh, okay, clearly if he would have committed to that, I would have been dead. So therefore you win. I thought that's what we were dealing with, or I thought it was a draw. Because he had his wand, he had his sword, and then the cut. And then the cut forms. And I'm like, wait a second. This man ran at such speed and precision that he not only protected himself, but was able to graze the cheek. He didn't lose an ear, he didn't stab him, it was precision. The frustration he felt after realizing that every part of his body wants to say, this man is a disgrace. Like, a sword cannot surpass magic, and I bet in that brief moment he contemplated, is this kid gonna do what I never could? And that has to sting like a bitch. All the characters we've been introduced to so far, like in terms of main supporting roles, whether side characters or, you know, the teachers and stuff, like, I feel very, very positive about them. You know, two little douchebags trying to give credit to the bully. I mean, I'm pretty sure those were the same people who I thought got killed last week, but maybe not. I don't know, but goddamn medical care in this world, I guess, is pretty intense. Either way, this was just freaking fantastic. It was, you know, sometimes when you hear certain staff members being working on a show like this and they're coming from stuff like Chainsaw Man, I mean, this, yeah, it really shows. Like, the hand-drawn everything about this is just so freaking well done. And the fact that they pulled out a second banger of an action sequence, like, literally after having one last week, I figured by episode 3 or 4 we'd have another pretty stellar moment like that, but not by episode 2 again. I don't need this to always have crazy action. I actually really like what they're doing with the story, the characterization, the storytelling, and all that stuff. But yeah, you can't deny that seeing him victorious after learning more about the past and everything that's being pushed against him in the present really does add an extra level of emphasis on pretty creative writing, if I'm being honest. Let me know what you're thinking, though, down below of episode 2. I think we have a pretty good taste of what the show's to offer, and I'm absolutely here for it, but let me know what you're feeling down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alrighty, so today we got Billo Rajput, the Lyrical G, Andrew Stevens, Himi Meow Toga, Misto Dreamer, and we also have Isaac Slightling. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and please just watch the show. Like, this one's legitimately great. I think it's going to be one of the best ones, so please keep on it. But if not, I get it, opinions, but I think we got a gem on our hands. Have a good one.